Bobby, did you have some Dak stuff that you wanted
Yeah,
to
don't. Why do you set it up like that? I hate the way. I just hate the way you set it up. Like you got some Dak stuff. Like, come on, you're gonna beat us down with some Dak.
We got a tweet that it's May 17th. Can you all just have fun? And here you are wanting to bring up Dak Prescott being disrespected.
No, it's just this was something that was getting a lot of chatter yesterday on social media.
Okay.
Nick Shook. Okay, he had him shook out there on social media. He does the NFL quarterback index. He does a bunch of different rankings for NFL.com. He's a writer over there. Does stuff for the Around the NFL, not the TV show, which is not the thing that he does. He does the writing. So he does the Around the NFL writing. He does all their news aggregate.
Are you talking Nick Wright? Nick Wright does the TV show?
No, Nick Shook is who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about not the Around the NFL program.
Gotcha.
He does the writing. So he does the way too early top 10 MVP candidates under center. So this isn't even just top 10 MVP candidates, which is usually going to be a quarterback, but it's very specific to quarterbacks. So here's your top 10 list, according to Nick Shook. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. He is the number 1 MVP candidate. Obvious, makes sense. If Mahomes is healthy and Kansas City doesn't fall like the Roman Empire, the man will be in this conversation. Number 2, Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals. Now, these are things that he's writing about. He's writing these little takedowns or whatever. But this is it's his writing along with Caesars Sportsbook odds and everything.
I think that's accurate. Those are the 2 best quarterbacks in the league.
No problem with it. 3, Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
He's in there. Number 4, CJ Stroud.
Okay.
Number 5, Tua.
And Tua was in the conversation playing really well last year.
It's a dark horse candidate, though.
He is a dark horse candidate.
Calling him a top 5 seems a little much, a little aggressive.
Okay.
Number 6, Josh Allen. Okay,
all right.
So even though these are his rankings based on what he's feeling with the Caesars Sportsbook, so even though Tua is plus 2,500, number 6 he has Josh Allen. Josh Allen's plus 1,000 to be the MVP, and he's stacking Tua higher. Number 7, Anthony Richardson of the Indianapolis Colts.
That's a dart throw.
He says, here's where it gets fun. Remember Richardson, the pillar of a human with freakish athleticism who carried question marks into the 2023 draft, then promptly dunked on them in his first month of play? I sure do. Richardson's abrupt end to his rookie season may have made you forget about him, but I'm gearing up for a big year for the kid. Number 8, the newly minted $210 million man or whatever it was, Jared Goff. He has Jared Goff as the 8th one with plus 3,500 MVP odds.
Which I could see. I think the Lions are going to have a really good year.
They are. If you're a good team, if you're one of the better teams in the league and you've got a quarterback playing well, you are going to be in the conversation. Number 9, Jordan Love from the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
And then number 10, at 40 years old, fresh off a newly minted Achilles, Aaron Rodgers of the New York Jets.
I thought you were going to say Kirk
Which,
Cousins.
if he's healthy and the Jets are good, he absolutely will be in the conversation.
Zach.
Bobby.
Zach, this is a ranking index here here are the top MVP candidates. Do you think it's reasonable to say he will be healthy and the Jets will be good?
No, I don't think it's likely to happen.
More so than to say the Cowboys will be good and Dak will be good.
I mean, if you look at the Jets roster, if they're healthy, do you think the Jets are better than the Cowboys?
No.
You don't?
Nope. And I don't think the Cowboys are going to be great this year. Yesterday, I know I heard you guys did the schedule pick. I picked 9 and 8.
We did too.
We did as a show.
Yeah, which I don't think is anywhere near to get Dak in the conversation. Like, the only one that I think is disrespectful out of that is Anthony Richardson. We haven't seen him play, and Dak was runner-up. But I don't know, is Dak going to have as good of a year as last year, and he still finished runner-up? To me, the only way he can get it is if the Cowboys are the number 1 seed in the NFC and he plays as good, if not better, than he did last year. And I don't think any of us think that's happening. So I don't think it's necessarily disrespectful to not have him in the top 10.
Is it disrespectful to the national conversation? Forget Dak then for a sec. Is it disrespectful that we just ran through 10 candidates, and I'm not a fan, but we ran through 10 candidates, including Anthony Richardson and Aaron Rodgers, and not on this list is Jalen Hurts. So you're telling me the two likely...
I don't think the Eagles are going to be good either.
Well, then who's going to win the NFC East?
I think it's going to be a crap-off.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so as bad as the NFC East is, you think that ultimately nobody's going to be an 11-win team coming out of that division?
No, I don't. I think 10 wins will win you the East this year.
That's interesting to me. I mean, I think it's interesting you go through this whole list. There's no Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I think Brock Purdy should have been in there because the Niners, we assume, are going to be good. I think Stafford should have been in there. I think Stafford should be in the conversation. He played so well at the end of last year, and I think the Rams are going to be pretty good this year.
There may just be too much heat around Highland Park right now because of Scotty Scheffler. They just didn't want to associate with him on their list is probably what it was. But to me, just in general, this is obviously a Dak angle that I'm going to take on this one. But I just think this is ridiculous here at all that you would list, again, not even the top 10 MVP candidates. You're talking about quarterback specific and you don't throw in the names Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, or even, like I said, Jalen Hurts. And I don't think Hurts is, but Hurts will be, to me, if the Eagles are any good, Hurts is going to be in the conversation as one of the 10 MVP candidates.
Not if this is a crap-off situation like Walchuk.
I think it's going to be crap-off.
That's a hell of a prediction, by the way.
Thank you. To your point, I do think just judging based off what have you done for me lately, we don't know what Anthony Richardson is. We haven't seen Aaron Rodgers play well, and he hasn't played football in a year. How the hell is he going to be health-wise? So I would absolutely sub those two out, and I would put Brock and Dak in there.
And what have you done for me lately is Tua was not great at the end of the year.
No, but neither was Dak in the last time we saw him play.
No, but I mean, if you're talking about in the second half of the season, who was better? Like, Dak surged into the MVP conversation in the second half of the year, and Tua fell off.
That's true. I think the Dolphins are just going to be better than the Cowboys.
Probably. That's probably the case. But I mean, like, again, Josh Allen is a great player. He's one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the NFL. But if you're going to throw Josh Allen in there and say, especially if you're assuming, hey, Aaron Rodgers could be in this conversation, the Jets could be good, and you're going to throw Buffalo in there where a lot of people are like, they've had to purge a lot. They've gotten rid of Stephon Diggs. We don't know what Buffalo is going to look like next year. I understand Stroud. I understand all these different ones. Richardson and Rodgers, and even to an extent, not Allen being in there. Allen being in there is fine, but to have
Tua is the one you seem to be the most off-put about.
No, Tua, no. The one I'm most put off about is Anthony Richardson and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is honestly the one. He's 40. He didn't look that good at the end in Green Bay, and he tore an Achilles, and he plays for a bad football team.
Yeah.
I don't see how there's any justification for saying, like, yeah, the guys who finished second and third in the MVP voting at the end of the year, who were considered the 2 top contenders in the NFC when we entered the playoffs last year, neither one of those guys will be in the conversation. In a pretty like, honestly, I think you can make an argument with where the Bears are at. Like, Caleb Williams is a better dark horse candidate to throw out there than Aaron Rodgers.
I think that's rookie of the year stuff. I mean, how often do you get a rookie MVP situation?
Not often, but how often do you get off
almost never
shredded Achilles, played for the Jets?
Was Dak probably the last one that was in the rookie of in the MVP conversation as a rookie? I don't think Stroud was really getting a ton of momentum last year for that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Dak finished in the MVP voting the year he won.
Him
rookie
and
of the
Zeke
year.
kind of
even in the NBA, like Wemby should have just been Defensive Player of the Year. He gets rookie of the year, but he should have been Defensive Player of the Year.
I'm with you. Like, unless again, Bears have the number 1 record in the NFC, it's like, oh, we can't not give it to him. He's not getting MVP as a rookie.
No, he's not. But again, if we're talking about just 10 candidates, who are the candidates who, when you play with the odds and look at what they could possibly contribute or everything else, I just think it's absurd to throw Rodgers and Richardson in there over Dak or Purdy.
What about, and this is a player that I do think has been highly overrated, but he's probably going to be in a better position now that he has a legitimate coach that has done a good job with quarterbacks, Justin Herbert.
Yeah, that's a good call. I mean, they've kind of stripped that thing down a little bit as well in terms of seeing Keenan Allen, Mike Williams leave.
And what is that offense what is a Harbaugh offense gonna look like? Is it gonna look like one that's
a lot of handoffs?
Probably not putting up the numbers required.
It may not be. I mean, it could look. People seem to forget this a lot. Like, I mean, Harbaugh is a former quarterback. Like, he is a guy who played the position, but I mean, he's shown a Big Ten mindset, like in terms of the way that he wants to do things offensively. And he, is one of the guys who was a big advocate for Greg Roman, and Roman being a guy who likes to run the football. And so, yeah, I mean, that may be why the Herbert conversations are there. It's interesting when you said, so Stroud finished 8th in MVP voting last year.
Okay, so he finished top 10.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see, Herbert didn't finish anywhere near the MVP voting the year he won. So, yeah, it's basically been Dak and...
Somebody brought up Big Ben. Big Ben probably did finish pretty high his rookie year when they went 15-1.
It's a good one. Let me see here. Ben 04, he finished. No, he wasn't even in the MVP.
RG3. RG3 had an amazing rookie season.
Yeah, with his 180 passes, his Trey Lance number of passes that he threw that year.
Yeah, but I mean, I know you think Lamar is not a good thrower. He's got 2 MVPs. Like, it's more than just at the quarterback position. What are you doing with your arm? The legs do matter quite a bit. How are you moving the football? We're just matriculating the ball down the field, boys.
They do.
Legs do matter.
That's what you want to do.
Legs matter.
Big leg guy.
Big leg guy.
Big leg guy.
Here.
I'm curious, where did Dak finish the year? So he finished 6th in the MVP voting the year he won Rookie of the Year. So that probably was the closest we've gotten to somebody doing that as a candidate. And again, it's not that Caleb Williams is going to be the MVP. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're listing 10 candidates, if Caleb Williams is a freak show and Chicago is competitive and he wins the Rookie of the Year, he could finish in the top 10, which is what this whole list is supposed to be about. There's zero chance to me. Aaron Rodgers is not going to come. I don't think we're talking about Aaron Rodgers in the even if he's healthy for the whole year. I don't think we're talking about Aaron Rodgers in the top 20 of quarterbacks this year.
You just don't think he's got it anymore?
I think he was washed to begin with. I think that offensive line, good luck blocking. The guys you did acquire are all old and banged up, and you're talking about coming off of an Achilles, which is a killer when you are in your 30s. It's a killer. And so it
is going to be interesting to see how he looks. I mean, I think the jury is out on how good Aaron Rodgers looks, and can he stay healthy? Can the Jets' offensive line stay healthy? I mean, it seems like good things just can't happen for the Jets.